NoDQ.com.
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 Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. A reminder from the last video, NoDQ.com has recently been changed up a bit. There is a comments section on every single post on NoDQ.com. Go ahead and leave your comments on the various posts on NoDQ. And if you are one of the top 10 comment submitters, I guarantee I will answer your question on episode number 950 of NoDQ&A video, which is coming up very soon. This is episode number 947. Thank you all for your continued support. I appreciate the feedback. With that being said, let's get down to your questions. First one today comes from James V. What did you think of Jinder Mahal becoming the #1 contender for the WWE World Championship? I like that they are giving him a chance. I'm trying not to be quick to judge. I will give it time to see how it plays out, but right now, I'm not really a big fan of this decision. The problem is not that Jinder Mahal is talented or not. I think the problem is that he has no credibility, and that is due to how he has been booked. Jinder Mahal is a guy who has been part of 3MB for several years. He lost to El Torito a couple years ago. When he came back, he was basically enhancement talent. All of a sudden now, he's the #1 contender for the WWE title. I do not buy it. It's very difficult for me to suspend disbelief that this guy is all of a sudden a #1 contender for the world title, the most prestigious title in the world of wrestling. I'm just not buying it right now. And a lot of that is due to WWE. Nothing that Jinder Mahal did. I think that the guy has some potential, but I think that the company has damaged his character so badly, I'm not sure if it's going to work. It looks like he's going to be teamed up with the Bollywood Boys and there's going to be this new faction. To me, it really comes off like a watered down version of Muhammad Hassan. And quite frankly, I think that this whole gimmick of the anti-American has been played out. It's the oldest gimmick in the book. I'm just not a huge fan of it right now. It feels like lazy writing by WWE, like they're just throwing something together, almost like JBL when he was turned heel after the APA broke up. But at least with JBL, he had some credibility as a tough guy with Ron Simmons in the APA. Jinder Mahal, like I said, was losing to El Torito a few years ago. So there is a difference with that. Now, maybe it'll work. Again, I will give it the benefit of the doubt and give it some time to see how it plays out, but right now, not a fan of it. I would have loved to have seen Luke Harper win that match, or even Sami Zayn, and turn Randy Orton heel. Orton has been very vocal about wanting to be a heel, but WWE is going in a different direction. So whatever, I'll go with the flow, we'll see how things go. Got this one here from Mr. Yuck. With both brothers being on Raw, is 2017 the year to pull the trigger with Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt and a possible Hardys feud? I like that idea. A lot of people have commented on wanting to see the Broken Hardys versus Bray Wyatt in some sort of tag team match. I love the idea, especially if the Hardys become broken again, which is something that is heavily rumored that WWE is working out a deal with Anthem to use the broken gimmick. And I've talked about for the longest time how I feel Bo Dallas would be better if he was repackaged as a member of Bray Wyatt's group. I think that the idea of Bo going to the dark side and being brainwashed by his brother would give his character a new lease on life. You know, instead of him being this opening match comedic figure, even though I was a big fan of Bo Ryder, which of course WWE never followed up on because they gotta make Flo Rida look strong, damn it. Bo Dallas, I think, would do a lot better with a serious approach taken to his character and aligning him with Bray Wyatt. And I'm guessing that Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt are not going to be reunited with this push that Strowman is getting right now. So Bray could benefit from having somebody he can align with. Why not his brother? To me, it makes perfect sense. Bray and Bo versus the Broken Hardys at SummerSlam. I would definitely consider doing that. I would book it for sure. This one comes from Aaron Rift Rules. This guy knows how to get his questions answered. What can I say? Hey Aaron, what are your thoughts on a Shield reunion and then have Reigns turn on Dean and Seth as a way to turn him heel? It's a nice idea on paper, but realistically, I doubt it's going to happen. If the Shield reunites, it will probably just be a one-time thing, a special occasion where the Shield comes together, and I would be surprised if it doesn't happen. Now that all three Shield members are back on the same brand, I think one day we will see the Shield work together, but it'll be to pop a buy rate. It will not be to turn somebody heel. I would be very surprised, and I think people need to get it out of their system now. Roman Reigns is not turning heel. It's not happening. He's not changing his character. Ambrose, on the other hand, turning on his partners, that I think is more likely. But again, I doubt that will even happen, because I think if the Shield reunites, it'll just be a one-off situation to pop a buy rate. Why am I saying buy rate, by the way? This is a different era now, but I guess to get more network subscribers or create some sort of buzz. I guess that's the better way to say it. Creating some sort of buzz as a one-off thing for a feel-good moment, and that'll be it. That'll be the reunion, and they'll move in different directions. That's what I'm thinking, at least. I would be surprised if anybody turned on anybody at this point if the Shield reunited, because I don't see it being anything more than a one-time thing. Got this one here from Alex Suggs. If Edge never had his feud with Matt Hardy in 2005, would he have become a top star when he did? My guess is yes. WWE at the time was already grooming Edge for a top spot before the drama went down with Edge and Matt Hardy and Lita. Edge had turned heel in late 2004. He had that match with Shawn Michaels at the Royal Rumble in 2005, and then he won Money in the Bank, which I believe was right before all the drama went down. Now, perhaps the feud with Matt Hardy sped things up a little bit, but maybe it didn't. Maybe Edge would have cashed in Money in the Bank sooner if that feud with Matt Hardy had not taken place, and WWE would have done something else with Edge and had him cash in Money in the Bank. So it's really hard to say. Again, it's one of those what-if questions. You never know, but I think Edge was bound to be WWE champion. He was on his way to being a top guy regardless of what went down behind the scenes. Got this one here from MCDB. Should WWE analyze and break down their matches more, i.e. post-match interviews asking the wrestlers why they did certain moves? I would be fine with that. I think it would add a little bit more realism to the show, but I understand why it's not done and why it will probably not be done. The fact is, it's very old school. It's, to put it in Vince's terms, wrestling. And because of that, I think it's unlikely we see WWE do something like that. It's more about the characters and the show rather than the sports aspect of it. So as much as I like the idea, and I think it would change things up a little bit, I think it's highly unlikely in all likelihood, to use my own phrase. This one comes from Calvin Bowman. Hey Aaron, do you think that Brock Lesnar will put his title on the line against Braun Strowman at Extreme Rules? That seems to be the direction right now. Either that or WWE drags out Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman for another match, but I doubt that will happen. If the plan is Strowman versus Lesnar, and Lesnar is on the sidelines for a while these two do battle, I think that WWE is not going to drag this Reigns versus Strowman feud out any longer than they have to. Strowman is red hot right now, so it would be a very bad decision for him to lose to Roman Reigns. And I do not see Reigns losing to Strowman twice, you know what I mean? With the way Reigns is being protected, if he loses at all, it's going to be under controversial circumstances where Strowman gets lucky or Reigns gets screwed or something like that. So I would be really surprised if WWE stretched the Strowman-Reigns feud to another match beyond the Payback pay-per-view, which would be Extreme Rules. My gut feeling is Strowman beats Reigns at Payback in the stipulation match if they make it an ambulance match or they do something where Reigns gets screwed, and then it's Strowman versus Lesnar at Extreme Rules. I would be surprised if WWE dragged out Reigns and Strowman again. I mean, is Strowman going to lose to Reigns? Is Reigns going to lose twice? Just doesn't make sense. Looking at it from WWE's perspective, of course. This one comes from Slow Motion. Are you surprised that WWE has JBL call AJ the greatest performer of this generation, which would include Cena, Reigns, RKO, Rollins, and so forth? Not surprised at all, because it's pretty much true. I mean, AJ Styles is the equivalent to what Shawn Michaels was in the 90s. AJ Styles is arguably the best performer in the company. I would say he's been the best performer in the company in terms of in-ring performances. I mean, there's only one AJ Styles, and he is one of the very best in the world. So if I was JBL, I would definitely say the same thing. Now, of course, people looking at it as JBL saying what he's told to say by somebody like Vince McMahon, maybe that might seem a little bit surprising. But at the same time, it is what it is. AJ Styles is phenomenal. He's had one of the best first years of anybody in WWE history, and why not put over your talent? AJ is a huge success in WWE. He's selling merchandise. He's getting people's attention. He is a bona fide star. He is a bona fide superstar in WWE. And, you know, I would put over the guy too. Why not put over your talent that is doing unbelievable things in the ring? This one comes from Jamie Clark. Did WWE phase out Mauro Ranallo because he had the Joey Styles issue of being a wrestling announcer rather than a sports entertainment announcer? That is a very good point. You know, we all focus on this stuff that's going on with JBL, but as I've mentioned before, you had Tom Phillips out there when there was Mauro Ranallo doing the primary play-by-play. Why have Tom Phillips out there? It always felt to me like Phillips was being groomed for that spot, and he was eventually going to replace Ranallo, and maybe the JBL situation just sped up the process. Maybe Ranallo just wasn't conforming at the level that WWE wanted. You know, WWE likes to have control of everything, and the announcers basically say whatever they're told, and they follow a certain protocol, and maybe Ranallo just wasn't doing everything that WWE wanted him to do. Like you said, maybe he was too much of a wrestling announcer and calling moves. You know, going back to earlier, you know, that question about the wrestlers analyzing moves and how that's too wrestling. Maybe Mauro Ranallo was too wrestling for WWE, and that's why they had to get him out of the picture, and they were eventually going to phase him out, and the whole JBL thing just sped up the process. This one comes from Mr. Puzzle. If, when AJ Styles is inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, who should induct him and why? You're asking if? I mean, Coco Beware was in the Hall of Fame. If AJ Styles does not go into the Hall of Fame, I completely give up on the Hall of Fame. But that is potentially many years down the line. Hopefully AJ Styles does not get hurt and has to retire early. As far as who would induct him, that's a great question because it's hard to say. And if he has several years left, he might develop a major feud with somebody over the next several years, and that person would be a good contender. If we're talking about right now, John Cena. John Cena is probably the greatest opponent that AJ Styles has had in WWE. I think John Cena would do a great job. Cena seems to be like the #1 choice at the moment. But again, things could change. Maybe in 10 years, we'll have a series of Seth Rollins, AJ Styles matches at WrestleMania. You just don't know. Rollins would be a great choice if AJ and Rollins have a storied history over the next several years. Same thing with Joe and AJ. If Joe and AJ have a back and forth feud over the next several years, Joe would be a great choice. I think it's too early to say for sure who would be the best choice to induct AJ, but I would say 99% he's going into the Hall of Fame, unless something drastic happens. This one comes from The Cruise. With Kevin Owens now on SmackDown, did fans jump the gun with a faction of Kevin Owens, Triple H, and Samoa Joe? Perhaps. I think fans were just looking at it logically, thinking, hey, this might be a good feud or a good storyline to have Triple H form his own faction against Seth Rollins and the other baby faces on Raw. On paper, it sounded like a good idea, but at the same time, Triple H was really only around for the WrestleMania build, and now that WrestleMania is over, Triple H is back to doing his behind-the-scenes role in the company, which is fine. I mean, I'm not even a fan of Triple H coming back for WrestleMania. I think it's totally unnecessary unless there's a really good storyline to do, and it feels like the last couple years Triple H has just been there so he can be in the spotlight. And I guess WWE's perspective is that Triple H can be a name that adds appeal to WrestleMania, much like The Undertaker does, and maybe WWE feels that they don't have enough star power and they need to bring back the part-timers, and that's why they bring back Triple H every year. But part of me feels it's just done for ego. It's just done so Triple H can have his one moment of the year in the spotlight and seal his legacy as one of the all-time greatest, you know, at the level of The Undertaker, by coming back and making special appearances every year. So I'm not sure if Triple H sticking around would have been best for business or not. I mean, I think on paper it might have been a cool idea to do a new evolution and build up Samoa Joe as the guy that Triple H is grooming for the top spot. But, you know, I'm not complaining that they're not doing it. Alright, that'll wrap it up for NoDQ&A video with the new NoDQ.com logo in the background. Again, stay tuned to the new NoDQ.com for the very latest. Leave a comment on the posts, all the news posts, all the opinions, all the features. Every single post on NoDQ.com has a comment section, and I'm responding to a lot of people. So if you have a question for me or a comment, you can post something and I will respond to it, most likely. No guarantees though. And this coming Monday, I will be doing live commentary for Monday Night Raw, and I welcome your comments in the comments section. Discuss Raw along with me. Let's debate Raw. Let's discuss Raw. I will respond to some of the comments. There will be a post for that on Monday, of course. So again, stay tuned to NoDQ.com. Thank you for your continued support. Please keep spreading the word about NoDQ&A video, and I will see you guys next time.